Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use and read a measuring tape. Let's get to it. I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible for you. Most measuring tapes are all the same. Let's start with the features. Almost all have a belt clip. Almost all have a locking switch. When you extend the tape, push the switch down to lock the tape in place. This keeps the tape from retracting back inside. Some tapes, like this Milwaukee, it automatically locks and you have to push the switch to unlock it so the tape can retract. Almost all measuring tapes have a small notch at the tip. This is so you can hook a nail in it and it'll stay put while you pull a measurement. Okay, now let's talk about reading the tape measure. Some measuring tapes are better for beginners or for someone who doesn't use a measuring tape that often than others. I have 3 measuring tapes here, a Milwaukee, a DeWalt, and a Stanley. Let's look at the numbers on the tape. You can clearly see these 2 measuring tapes has the fraction measurements on it compared to the other one. This feature makes it a lot easier to understand how to read it. But first, before I break down an inch, let me go over some of these other markings on the tape. These markings make it easier to understand and read the tape. These are the foot markings. Pretty easy to understand, right? 1 foot, 2 foot. The next easy marking to see and understand are the 16 markers. Every 16 inches there's a red marker. They are marked mostly for framers because studs in the wall are usually 16 inches apart. This is good for a homeowner to know in case you need to find a stud in the wall to hang something. Once you find one stud, you can pull a measurement to find the next stud over. Studs are either 16 inches apart or 24 inches apart. Now let's go over these red numbers. These are inch indicators past the foot mark. So this will be 1 foot, 1 inch, 1 foot, 2 inches. And it's the same for every foot after. 2 foot, 2 inches. Here is 2 foot, 11 inches. Then it goes to 3 feet, and it starts all over again. Some measuring tapes have this, some don't. As I said before, as you can see, some are easier to read than others. Okay, now let's go over the breaking down of an inch. What you have to look at are the height of the lines within the inch. The highest line within the inch is the middle one. This is the half point. The next highest lines are the quarter lines. These lines indicate half of a half. It's called quarter lines because it divides 1 inch into 4 parts. The easiest way to remember this is to look at an inch as a dollar. The first quarter line is 1 quarter. If you add another quarter to that, it becomes 50 cents, half of a dollar. If you add another quarter, it becomes 3 quarters. Another quarter is $1. Let me go over some examples. This is 1 foot, 1 inch, and 1 quarter. It's easier to say 13 and a quarter. This is 1 foot, 2 inches, and 3 quarter. And again, it's easier to say 14 and 3 quarter. The quarter and half markers are the easiest to understand if you look at it as a dollar. But now let's go to the next smaller line. These are the eighth markers. They are located every half of a quarter. Again, the eighth mark lines divide 1 inch into 8 equal parts. 1/8, 2/8, but instead of saying 2/8, you'll say 1 quarter. It's the same thing. If you go to the next line, it will be 3/8. Go 1 more eighth, and you'll be at the half marker line. But again, you won't say 4/8, you'll say a half. Go over again, and you'll be at 5/8. And again, some measuring tapes have these marked out for you already. This makes it super easy to read a measuring tape, which is why I recommend a measuring tape like this for beginners or someone who doesn't use a measuring tape often. The smaller lines are 16th marker lines. You won't really be using these unless you need to be dead on with measuring something, but it's pretty much the same concept. It's half of an eighth, and it divides 1 inch into 16 equal parts. And that's pretty much it for understanding how to read a measuring tape. Let's go over some examples real quick to help you get a better understanding. This says 12 5/8. This says 22 1/2. And this is 21 7/8. Now go buy the EC Read measuring tape and practice. Measure things around the house. Thanks for watching. Hit that like, bell, subscribe button. Check out my other videos on my channel. I'm sure you'll find something else helpful to you. If you want me to show you how to use a different kind of tool, just leave it down in the comments. Until next time, peace.